the Atlantean civilization, they were creating a civilization in which they said, we are making people into gods and goddesses. So the main advertisement of that civilization was, we are here to be divine. In a very different way in which we have been living in the past 3,000 years, in which we believe that there is a divine there, and in order to be divine, we have to leave this world. In the ancients, people, the ancient ones, they said, we are already in the skies. We are levitating around the sun. We are part of the heavens. So we should not leave this world in order to become the divine. We should make that divine here, because we are here in the skies. So many of the Atlantean people, they describe all the civilization in order to become that. And priestesses and priests like Yahut, taught Asia, which is Isis, and all this Usur, Osiris, and all these gods and goddesses were not gods and goddesses. They were people. They were people that accomplished to recognize that they were divine, that everything was in their body was light. We are light. Every molecule, that every atom is basically light, energy. So they accomplished to manifest that. So they became an example for everyone. So they embody the divinity. That's why they call them gods, even if they weren't as we think about a god, of course. Yeah, that's why gods walked in between humans. Sometimes it was not aliens, it was people that accomplished to become.
Did you ever get to meet any of those people?
In this life? Or in another life?
In another life.
In another life, yes.
What was it like? What was the experience?
They were all
like?
the time covered in white, and you couldn't see their faces.
So they were actually like
They
glowing.
were very white, like the sun would hurt the skin. So they were all covered with a veil.
But could you feel a particular energy from them?
Yes, it was like you do like this.
Yeah, you would naturally.
And you were not, but by culture, you were not meant to see into their eyes. Whatever I explain is just an idea for you to understand a little bit, and then to keep looking for more so you can complete the puzzle. So basically, unity from our point of view is only seen by a Trinity, because when you have the beginning of everything, which is the nothingness, you have one dot, nothing else. That's unity. It's not union, it's unity. So it's only one thing, but that only one thing cannot know that it is unless it observes itself. So in order for the unity to know what it has within, it has to observe. So that's why it goes out and creates duality. Duality is a different point of view to observe itself, so it can have a different point of view. So it can stare like in a mirror. But with that observation, does nothing. You need to manifest it. You need to move yourself to see if what you see is real or not. So you have to change your point of view, which makes us three, which is the movement of duality. And that creates a triangle, which means that the first shape in the universe that ever existed is a triangle, because it's the only possible existing being. Because you have one thing that is observing itself and moving around in order to have a different perspective of itself. So that's why the first structure that ever existed in the universe is a triangle. From there, fractalization. From 3, you get 6, 9, and so on, and it creates fractals everywhere. But the first integration that the triangle has to do is to find the core. So unity goes to duality to find Trinity, and by Trinity it finds the movement that when you accomplish to give the whole circle, the whole spinning around, you find yourself in the center. You realize that any of those points weren't real, but all of them made only one. So you return to the unity for the first time, not unity but union, the unity of all the parts, with the understanding of what you had within. And that is the triangle with one dot in the middle. And that's the famous image of the triangle with an eye that you have in the dollar and these things. Well, it was not Masons who made it. It was very old. Masons imitate that. It is the first triangle with one thing that says, oh, now I see. That's why they put an eye on it. Now I understand, now I see. And with that vision, actually what you have is a tetrahedron. I don't know if you know the shape. Yeah, tetrahedron is a geometrical shape of 4 triangles, 1 in the base and 3 around. So that is geometrically is the first structure that creates anything that exists, from an atom, particles, everything. So that's why Trinity is so important to understand unity.
When people were trying to understand the Trinity, they often divided that into what you could call archetypes. And we associate archetypes with genders, but they're really archetypes: masculine, feminine, creative life force. And this was expressed in a variety of different pantheons, different gods and goddesses, different beings that were actually, some of them manifested to help explain this idea, and some of them just conceptual. So talk about, why it was divided in such a way to have, masculine, feminine, and the creative force.
Yeah. Well, the feminine and masculine idea is something that we as a species have. It's not something of the universe. The universe doesn't have feminine or masculine, has positive or negative. Like a magnetism. It's not bad or good.
Right.
The negative is the nothing that contains the whole, which is the everything. So we could say that the negative, we can call it the feminine, because it's like the womb that allows everything to be created. And the everything is the masculine energy, which is the one that goes out and manifests something outside. But that's something from our point of view as humans. Actually, for the universe is positive and negative. So the negative would be this dot that is nothing, is the point, the unity. And then from there creates duality. So one negative and the other positive, in order to be observed and to manifest something through movement. When it moves, it creates a wave, is the third option. So the wave, the frequencies creates the third option. So we have now this idea that we have something that is negative, something that is positive, that in the movement creates something new. Many things. With a negative, which is called the matrix, and the positive called the pattern. So all creatures are created through a matrix, following some patterns. Matrix and pattern are the origin of the word mother and father in all languages. So the mother is the matrix, that network that manifests all possibilities. The pattern are the lines that you have to follow. So it's the dad that you follow as an idea in life. And then you manifest yourself through both as a son or a daughter. Feminine, masculine, etc. So we are just a distortion or a projection of what the universe really is doing, which is creating waves of vibration of positive and negative in order to manifest realities. So we are just one of those experiences that is trying to figure out. So it's not the complete truth. It's our truth. We usually have this division of Trinity also that we call spirit, soul, and body. So we separate these three, but actually they are the same. It's the same cell, the same species, the same human. So actually the spirit is not something apart from the other two. The spirit just changed its vibration to become a soul, and the soul changed its vibration to become a body. So the body is just the projection of the soul and the spirit. So some recurring question is there free will? Like, can we choose? I always answer that no, we don't have free will. Of course not. But there is free will, which is very different. There is free will, but for those who remember that the body is a projection of the spirit and not the spirit is a projection from the body. This would be like this. The spirit was able to manifest the body by free will, but the body has matrix and patterns. So it is manifested through so many links that is really difficult to untangle all the links that made up the matter. So once you are inside the matter, there is no free will as a person, as a personality, because the personality is a program that doesn't have free will because it's not the spiritual. So me, Matias, I don't have free will. The only way I can have free will is when I connect with my higher self, and I let my body be what it is supposed to be. So I am not ruled by someone else. I am connected with my real self that is using this. The problem is when I want to have free will being Matias. It's like telling to the car, you can go. And the car won't move because it needs many things from this being to be moved. So I don't know if it happened usually to you that bad things happen when your ego is in control, usually. And that doesn't mean that ego is bad. The ego is really useful. It's like the fuel for the car. So without ego, you can do anything. But ego can't drive. Ego is the fuel for driving, but it's not the driver. You understand the difference? So it's not about leaving the ego away. No, it's don't put the fuel in the front seat, you know? So when we let the ego locate in the place where it belongs, which is the fuel for everything, but you leave your higher self being in control of the car, that is the body, suddenly you have free will. You can choose, you can feel, you can decide, because it's not your personality in control. And that takes a long time to work on, because it's not that easy.